What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele, coming to you live on the special super duper late night Doge After Dark edition of Steven Steele Live. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for joining me. I took about a week off there, so just kind of slowly getting back into the swing of things. So thanks for joining me on this late night. There may be a super surprise secret guest coming in. I will hear from this person soon, one way or the other. So either way, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a great show. Before we get started, if I could just ask you to smash that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help out the channel. And it helps. Number one thing you can do to help us reach more people with the tricky YouTube algorithms. And if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You're watching Steven Steele Live. Of course, I'm Steven Steele. It's great to have you with us. We've got an awesome community here. I want you to be a part of it, so hit subscribe, hit all on that notification bell, and ascend with us to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Starting things off with a mighty strong super chat, kicking things up, put a little pep in my step from none other than Donna Tabuki. Thank you, Donna. Appreciate you. We love the Tabukis here at this community. Hello, Stephen. Happy Saturday. Thanks for all you do, Stephen. You're very welcome, and thank you for so much for the support, Donna. Love you back. I know everyone here does too. Who else we got in the chat so far? We've got the Hump Deezy. We got Elijah. What's going on, Elijah? Hunter Wayne, good to see you. Dream Tanks, Kryptonian, Robbie Gilchrist, the one and only original Dogecoin Dolphin checking in. Mike Tracy, Papa Egod, Cloud Chamber, Scotty Suitcases, welcome back, sir. Alan Schneider, Zaxi. Who else do we got here? Larry Ramirez, George. And the list goes on. Great to see you guys. It feels like we got the band back together. Definitely some interesting things to go over tonight. Definitely, a fair amount has transpired since we last chatted, gang. And so we're going to talk about that stuff and just crack into it. Let's see, where should we start? Benzinga actually reported on this just today. Excuse me. In fact, just a couple hours ago, this came out. And I thought it was very interesting, very positive, but surprising yet unsurprising results. New survey finds Dogecoin among top crypto investments for both men and women. The study, which surveyed a few thousand consumers across the U.S., both owner and non-owner of crypto assets, looked into the altitude and awareness of women towards crypto and how their viewpoints differed from those of men. Most of the participants strongly associated cryptos with men, but the women who had not yet invested in digital assets claimed that the leading barriers to their crypto adoption are not knowing how to get started, not understanding crypto utility, and lacking extra funds for investment. All fair. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, guys. On Saturday, this survey's top 3 cryptos were Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So, out of all of these people polled of crypto investors in the United States, the results are such as follows: Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum in that order. So it seems that, according to the survey anyway, sampling anyway, that Dogecoin is the most popular digital currency in the United States, followed closely by Bitcoin and, of course, Ethereum. And then it also goes on to say how Dogecoin, essentially, from the data that they accumulated as well, that there are more female investors in Dogecoin than your typical crypto. And I've always said that I had a feeling this was the case. There is actually some really strong data that came out a while ago that showed that this was the case. But when I know Billy Marcus saw it too, and when we tried to double check on that data, it got lost in the shuffle. So this is the closest thing I've seen to it since then. So yeah, pretty cool to see that. So and that is in really large part to the just overwhelmingly strong community that Dogecoin has, and consistently, well, no matter what the market is doing. And right now, obviously, the market is not where any of us want it to be. And we've, of course, taken another step back after having almost a bullish week there. And now I think Dogecoin's around 12 cents and Bitcoin's dipped back under 40,000. Let's see where things are. Let's do a little market rounder here. So right now, as it stands, guys, sorry, I'm lagging a little bit over here, Yeah, so Bitcoin trading just under 40,000, but up about 1% for the day. Now, Ethereum just barely trading over 2,600, again, up 0.5% for the day. Lunaterra is up about 1% for the day. Again, Lunaterra, on all things considered, is trading remarkably. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Lunaterra in a bit. And Dogecoin right now, Dogecoin is right at about 12.5 cents, down about 1% for the week, up 1% for the day. Overall, given the climate and the conditions going on and all the factors that we're dealing with geopolitically and everything else, I think Dogecoin is performing pretty decently. I really do. And I say that because despite everything that's been going on in the world as it affects markets, Dogecoin's only down 1% over the last 7 days. I think that's rather pretty good, honestly, all things considered. It's all about context, folks. Let's see what's going on in the chat. No sleep for the wicked, says Zombie Doge Army. Welcome, Zombie. Crypto Leprechaun, didn't see you sneak in there. Good to see you. Audio Freak, good to see you. And folks keep filtering in here. Frank, good to see you. Appreciate that, Frank. Appreciate that. I'm getting there, friends. I'm getting there. Yeah. It's tough when you deal with like a kind of a severe chronic illness, and you run a business, and you do you put out a lot of you do a regular YouTube show and stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it's all stuff I enjoy. Now, let's go to the next story. This comes courtesy of Cointelegraph. Dogecoin Foundation registers name and logos as trademarked within the EU. The Dogecoin took action to prevent attempts by people completely unaffiliated with Dogecoin to register the names for reasons of fraud and extortion, according to board member Jens Wiekers. The Dogecoin Foundation announced on Twitter last Wednesday that it had registered Doge and Dogecoin as its associated logos as trademarks in the European Union. The certificate displayed in the tweet was dated January 13th. The Foundation executive board member Jens Wiekers said in the tweet, in the thread, that the issue isn't and it never has been used in memes, etc., but attempts by people completely unaffiliated with Dogecoin to register them, which only really makes sense if they want to extort either the community or the Dogecoin projects, devs, foundation, etc. directly. So basically what has happened is the Dogecoin Foundation has succeeded in securing the rights exclusively for the terms Doge, Dogecoin, and its associated aesthetic. So people may have a few different opinions about this. I think it's a very good thing. I think if I remember everything that I've witnessed about from the Dogecoin Foundation, I don't think they're going to be cracking down on people's taking liberties with Doge for memes and fun and everything else. I think it's more having to do with something they just, from what I've seen and what I've observed, it's something that was just kind of a necessity, because if the Dogecoin Foundation didn't take decisive action to do this, somebody else wouldn't, that wasn't associated with Doge, and would have co-opted those things. And of course, that could lead to something very, very bad as it stands for the Doge community. So this is an offensive move that I think had to happen. And so I'm glad to see that the Dogecoin Foundation was able to secure that. And I really do, from everything that I've seen and witnessed from the Dogecoin Foundation, the people that I've talked to over there, I don't think there's going to be any huge overexertion or of a power grab and going after people that are that have good intentions and things like that. So thank you, Scotty. Appreciate that. Appreciate the well wishes there, and glad to see you're back on the Twitter. I know how temperamental some of these platforms can be as it regards to how and what we can say and how we can express ourselves. So I get it. Let me go to the next story here. This comes courtesy of Fox Business, and I thought this one was pretty cool. Elon Musk says Starlink won't block Russian state media in Ukraine. Sorry to be a free speech absolutist, said Musk. More in detail. Elon Musk said overnight that some governments had asked SpaceX to block Russian state media on its Starlink internet satellites, but said, "We will not do so unless at gunpoint." He specified it wasn't a request from Ukraine, adding, "Sorry to be a free speech absolutist." When the commenter argued that Russian state media is propaganda, Musk replied, "All news sources are partially propaganda, some more than others." And I think that's a super base take and a very provocative but true statement from Elon Musk there. Earlier, he tweeted that SpaceX had prioritized cyber defense, overcoming signal jamming, having said a day earlier. My take on this is this. I think Elon has really exemplified good leadership qualities in how he's handled all of this, helping the people of Ukraine by providing them much needed internet access during a time of turmoil when everything else is shut down, while at the same time refusing to shut down Russian news media sources on the Starlink network, Free speech isn't obviously the reason why free speech laws exist. What's left of them anyway, isn't for the speech that you necessarily agree with. It's for opinions many may disagree with or even find distasteful. That's what free speech is about. So I thought that he exemplified really strong leadership qualities by making that call, in my opinion. So, yeah. I thought that was kind of neat. So let's get to the next story as it relates to all this Russia-Ukrainian stuff. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, sorry, I'm a little slow tonight, guys. You'll have to bear with me. Invites Elon Musk to Ukraine, and so that happened. And I think things are always much more complicated. Sorry, I'm just reading a message from my guest, so just bear with me. Okay. What's your Discord? I'll give you the Discord momentarily, guys. I believe it's in the video description. I believe it's in all my video descriptions, guys. I'm going to copy and paste it in the chat right now for you. If you haven't joined my Discord, feel free. It's free. Discord is free. And put it in the chat right now. So we are going to have a special guest in about 15 to 20 minutes. So that will be cool. And I think you guys will really enjoy this guest. I know you will. In fact, I know you will. So, Donna, it's some very spirited opinions going on in the chat. Just make sure. Everyone make sure just to be cool with each other. That's all I ask. So, yeah, I think, Elon Musk is in a unique position where he's obviously in a tremendous position in terms of power and influence, and I think he's wielding it very responsibly from all sides, as far as I can see. And it's interesting. Speaking of the Musks, okay, we're going to pivot to another story. By the way, my guest said it's okay due to privacy reasons with the press. My guest didn't want to announce that he was coming on because he didn't want the pressure of it because of the press that he has been getting recently. But those of you who are the troopers and that have decided to stay up late with me, well, you get a very special treat for doing so. We're having Ross Nicoll will be on the show in about 15 minutes. He's just waking up over in the United Kingdom right now, having some coffee, and just kind of shaking off the cobwebs and getting sorted. And so the one and only Ross Nicoll will be on here live in 15 minutes. You can feel free to tell whoever you think might be up if they want to tune in. But Ross the man will be here. And I got some interesting questions for him. As you know, Ross, most of you know, Ross recently stepped down from chief Dogecoin developer from the Dogecoin Foundation. He is still hanging around as an advisor to the Dogecoin Foundation, but due to conflict of interest business-wise and just general stress levels, Ross had decided to change roles there. So we're going to talk to him about that and see how he's doing, how he's getting on, and all that. So yes, this can be cool. So I'm keeping a close eye on my phone. Ross is going to let me know when he's ready, and then we will patch him through. So Elon Musk's brother, Kimball. Kimball is his, I don't know if it's Kimball his older or younger brother. I know he wears a cowboy hat a lot, and it looks like he's got some very shiny lips. I don't know. That's all I can say. Every picture I've seen him in lately, he's got very shiny lips. I don't know if there's any cosmetic augmentation there going on or what. I feel like I have to sneeze. I'm like right on the verge of sneezing, you guys, but I can't. You know that feeling? Okay, so anyway, why do I bring up Kimball Musk? Kimball Musk recently told Input Magazine that cryptocurrency as it stands today is a non-starter. Can you believe it? And he said that he is violently opposed to anything to do with crypto. And why? I mean, that's a very strong word, violently opposed. My goodness, Kimball Musk. And he cites the main reason for him being violently opposed to cryptocurrency is due to environmental reasons, environmental damages. I think Elon needs to have a weekender with Kimball and go over this stuff with him. This is an issue we've talked about frequently on the show here. The environmental concerns over cryptocurrency are greatly exaggerated and conflated. I say as someone, I consider myself a pretty strong conservationist, and I try to be a good steward of the earth where I can, but there is no question that the current system that's in place for currency and the way we're operating and doing business now, in order to make all those things happen, is way more, exponentially more environmentally costly in terms of carbon footprint and so on than even Bitcoin. And as I've discussed also previously, the mining machines for cryptocurrency are becoming so energy efficient so quickly, and so green mining practices are rapidly evolving in this space, where I really don't think this is going to be a concern going forward. That's evolving so quickly. So Musk's brother definitely taking a very sharply different pivot on his feelings about cryptocurrency, and I think it's a pretty weak argument. There are many legitimate criticisms to be had for why one wouldn't really be enthusiastic about cryptocurrency, but I put placing the environment as your primary chief concern and complaint of why you're violently opposed to it is a bit uninformed. I mean, really, honestly. So I don't know. That was kind of interesting, and people are free to have whatever opinions they like, and that's fine. But I have to say, I was pretty surprised to read those kind of sentiments from Kimball. Obviously, Kimball and Elon. It could be one of these things too, where perhaps Kimball is subconsciously jealous of all the attention that Elon's getting, and maybe Elon just starts grinding his gears, so he kind of takes a contrarian position reflexively to what Elon's take is on things, just out of that. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what's going on in the chat. Mama Crypto, welcome. Thanks for holding it down. I'm going to jump on Twitter just really quickly, and I'm just going to let people know on Twitter that Ross will be joining us momentarily here. And so just bear with me, guys. I'm still under the weather, so if I seem a little bit slower than usual, that's why, guys. That's why. So just bear with me. Ross, Nicoll, surprise appearance. Live now. Yes, smash that likey. Yeah, for those of you who just came in, Ross Nicoll will be joining us very shortly in a matter of minutes. We're just waiting for the word from him, and we're going to patch him through, and we're going to have a nice chat. We're going to have a good time. So those of you who decided to stay up super late are getting definitely a bonus treat. How many of you guys have seen this music video that Mark Zuckerberg's sister Randy put out? How many of you have seen this video? She released this a couple days ago, and it is a version of Twisted Sister's "We're Not Gonna Take It," except she replaced those words with "Yes, we're gonna make it," or we're all gonna make it. And it's filled with every cryptocurrency and NFT lingo you can think of. And it's so it's so bad. I don't know how else to put it. It's one of the most cringe-inducing things I've ever seen. I mean, and I've seen a lot of cringe-inducing things, but that is right up there. It almost left me flabbergasted, and I reposted it right when she first tweeted it out, and I said, because it's all very the music video, it only includes women, and it's all very women centric, which is great. We want to have an environment within the crypto space and the NFT space that's, very comfortable for men and women to participate in, absolutely, etc. So, but this was just super cringe and over the top, and I don't. You just have to see it. But anyway, Louder Magazine's reporting on it just yesterday. Randy Zuckerberg has recorded a cryptocurrency-themed version of Twisted Sister's "We're Not Gonna Take It," and Dee Schneider says it's dog shh. You know the word. The journalists go on to write, 2022 may be shaping up to be an apocalyptic hellscape, but there's always someone eager to ramp up those end-of-days vibes further. And today's culprit is Randy Zuckerberg, sister of sister of Facebook founder Mark. Randy has recorded a version of Twisted Sister's anthem of defiance, "We're Not Gonna Take It," and while the song may have been adopted as a rallying cry by the people of Ukraine in the face of Russian tanks, Zuckerberg has used the song to promote the joys of cryptocurrency. "A decade ago, I sang a song on Broadway," Zuckerberg says. "Today, I sing this song surrounded by new friends and a rallying cry for women of Web3. Together, we can accomplish anything and have fun doing it." While supporting women in tech is clearly a laudable aim, we're not entirely convinced by this video, which features memorable lines like, "You've got coins from different blockchains and want to do some trading. Carpe your crypto, DM." And "no single point of failure means you've got security." And the most enticing recruitment tool is, "We're not saying it's the worst thing we've ever seen, but neither is it in the top 10,000. Dee Schneider seems to agree. Taking to social media, the former Twisted Sister frontman expressed disbelief that Zuckerberg's parody had generated millions of views and confirmed that the band's legal team were exploring all their options. He went on to describe the video as simply dog bleep. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I like the simplicity of it. So it looks like that Dee Schneider and his team are exploring legal options. So Randy Zuckerberg may be in some deep doggy doo-doo, by the sounds of it. So if you haven't already seen this video, I would encourage you to go to Randy Zuckerberg's page and check it out for yourself. I just thought that was a funny story, man. It's just, as you guys know, I like to joke around a lot. Particularly, you kind of see that side of me more with my video shorts. And by the way, I just posted a video short earlier tonight, kind of parodying, making fun of NFT gurus. So if you start watching my shorts and you think I might be kidding, you're right. I am kidding. I am kidding. So and I can kind of have a quirky, little bit bizarre sense of humor. So I hope you enjoy that part of the ride and aspect of myself, because I'm going to be making more kind of comedial video shorts and stuff like that in the future. It's so yeah, you can look forward to more of that coming. Let's see what's going on in the chat with you guys. Mama Crypto, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. Let's pretend that video doesn't exist. Please feel better soon. Yeah. Yeah, her name is Randy. Her name is Randy with an I. Randy Zuckerberg. Yeah, it's kind of funny because she's actually pretty new to the NFT and crypto space, and I'm sure to agree her heart's in the right place and stuff. But it's just kind of like, because of her connections and who she is, she just comes obnoxiously just on the scene, like too much, just too much, too big, too gaudy, just like, just chill. It's unintentionally funny. I mean, there's more and more, and that's why I made that video short, kind of parodying like NFT gurus and motivational financial gurus that have been really getting crossing over the NFT space lately. Because I've been coming across like videos and channels of these guys, and no joke, some of them I thought they were jokes. I thought they were parodies, but then I looked into it further. I'm like, wow, these guys aren't kidding. They're really like this. And I'm like, I got to start having fun with this stuff. I got to start having some fun with this stuff. So anyway, let's pivot to the next story. CoinDesk, Terra Luna passes Ethereum to become second largest staked asset. Big news, guys. Big news for Luna holders. Some 30 billion worth of tokens are already staked by users to earn yields just under 7%. A price surge in Luna Terra's token over the past week has made it the second largest staked asset among all cryptocurrencies in terms of total value staked. That is huge. That is major. Luna surpassed Ethereum, which had over just 28 billion staked in value at time of writing. So just to be clear, you guys, Luna Terra has passed Ethereum in terms of the amount that it's being staked. Anyway, just to be clear, not in market cap value. Ethereum is way more up there than Luna in terms of market cap value, but in terms of how much is being staked, Luna Terra passed up Ether. This is extraordinary news and unsurprising. Those of you who watch my show regularly know that I've been very bullish on Luna Terra for a while. This is something that I've predicted that was going to happen in terms of an incredibly bullish future for Luna Terra. And as I've talked about in more recent shows, we've been looking at how incredibly remarkable that Luna Terra has been performing through this bear season. Luna Terra, when everything else was completely eating it and cratering, Luna Terra went up 55% in 1 week. This is absolutely extraordinary. And I would attribute this in large part to its incredibly intelligent utility. The utility for Luna Terra, in fact, I'm working on getting a Luna Terra representative on here to exclusively kind of talk about Luna. By the way, I'm not paid by Luna or anything like that. I'm just personally bullish on the project, and I just find the tech pretty fascinating as it relates to it. And also, I think that the future for Luna is going to continuously be a high probability, anyway, in my opinion, be pretty bright. So let's go to the next story here. Those of you just coming in, and maybe you saw my tweet, Ross is going to be here any minute. We're just waiting on him. I'm just waiting to get the word from him, but he will be here very shortly. Ethereum has entered the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Gonna take you right into the danger zone. Here's what, when that could change. According to several crypto analytics firms, the Daily Hold is reporting, blockchain analytics issuing a warning to investors that the top altcoin Ethereum is at risk for falling further based under a key metric. In a new article, the market intelligence company says that based on ETH's market value to realized value over the 7-day period, the second largest crypto asset by market cap is now in the danger zone. According to Santiment, Ethereum dropping price and the MVRV could be healthy for the second largest crypto asset. A drop in price in MVRV in coming days would help make for a good reset opportunity. Santiment also warns that Ethereum's price action is flashing bear signals and says that the bulls need to step up to avoid a potential sell-off event. Yeah, from the data I looked at and the charting that they're going by, wherein they are very concerned about Ethereum coming up on a big drop, I think this is a probability. Now, one thing you always need to factor in is we are still in a Bitcoin dominant market, and the number one thing, no matter what this charting, no matter what these theories are telling us, is that at the end of the day, the number one thing that's going to affect the market value of Ethereum is Bitcoin and how Bitcoin's doing. It kind of sucks that it's that way, but it's just how it is, and I think we are going to grow out of Bitcoin dominance. And I know a lot of more hardcore Bitcoin enthusiasts and maxis, if you will, would strongly disagree with that, but I do think that Ethereum is probably going to supersede the market value of Bitcoin over time. I'm not saying it's going to happen soon, but I do think it's going to happen. Also, I really do think that the way the market's headed and the way the DeFi technology is expanding in popularity and use case, I do think that Ethereum's most laudable competitors, such as AVAX, Lunaterra, Solana, I think there's going to be plenty of room in the market for all of them to continue to excel and succeed, and those values to go up exponentially over time across the board. I really don't see a future, personally, wherein the main Ethereum alternatives fail. I think this is a win-win scenario. I think likely in the future, eventually we'll be looking at Ethereum at number 1, Bitcoin at number 2, Dogecoin right at number 3, maybe number 4. And yeah, that's over time. Now, I also think that we will likely see the top 10 cryptos, half of those being occupied by DeFi technology, by Ethereum alternatives, essentially. And we're already headed there right now. It's already getting very close to that. And so it really isn't very difficult to see the writing on the wall in that regard, in my opinion. But, make of that what you will. Yeah, so my guest has just contacted me. I think he's almost ready to go here. So let me put on my headphones so I can conduct this talk accordingly. Just give me a moment, guys. Just hang tight. This was a very spontaneous thing, so I don't think Ross will be joining us by video. He'll be joining us by audio. I believe he's in the waiting room. We're going to pull him in here. And Ross, can you hear me, sir? We're doing a mic check here. I don't hear Ross yet, but hopefully, I don't see a signal for him yet. Ross, if you if you can hear me, just message me. I have your have your messenger open, or maybe you stepped away. I'm not sure. It might be a settings thing. I don't think it's a setting thing. Okay, I think I hear it. Ross, can you hear me? I heard him for a split second, and then he cut out. I don't think it's a settings thing on my end. I think it's on your end. I think all my...
it's working. It's working.
All right. We're good. Well, good morning to you, sir. Top of the morning to you. How you feeling?
Hello. Testing.
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me? So I think we have a case where we can hear Ross, and but he can't hear me. He says, I can hear you.
Testing. You have any luck with this?
Okay, so he can hear me. He can hear me.
I see my light going green, so that's why I'm thinking it's working.
Yeah, the green means your signal's good.
Excellent.
But you can't. You can only hear me over.
Good morning. From the UK, where I'm just having coffee.
Okay, you can hear me fine now? Maybe not. I think I'm delayed because he's listening to the video. That's what's going on.
What's happening is I can hear you from YouTube.
Yeah. Yep, I understand what's happening. So let me double check my settings. And thank you for the audience for your patience while we resolve this matter. But I maybe there is something I can tweak on my end, Ross. I'm just going into my settings and see what we can make happen here. Discord is infamously a temperamental platform. It really is. So let's see what we can make happen here, my friend. I got a wave. There we go. Yeah, everything. I'm going to close out Discord. I'll be right back, Ross, and see if hard stop and start. Sometimes that does it. Sometimes it's all it requires. So, guys, those of you just joining us in this late night, it's 2 in the morning in my neck of the woods here in the Midwest. And then it is 3 a.m. if you are coming to us on the East Coast, and of course you're right around midnight if you're coming to us from the West Coast, and overseas all bets are off. I just rebooted here. Let's see if we have any luck now, guys. Sorry for the screen there, I know, but we'll be back in action here. Ross, is this any better? Can you hear me? I think he's muted right now. We see the top hat, my friend. Ross, you are muted. You are muted. He's probably confused that I dipped out, but let's try it again. Ross, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, so I'm not even getting a signal from Ross yet. Hopefully.
I've got
What's that, Ross?
I've got it. It's working. I figured it out.
Okay, he figured it out. We're all good to go. Thank you for your patience, guys. We're all good to go.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. With our friend Ross. So, Ross, what is it, about 8, 9 in the morning there right now?
It is just gone 8 a.m. I am having my first coffee, which is my defense for that. So it turns out I have 2 Realtek outputs. One is a digital output, and one is the one that actually goes to my headphones.
Ah, very good.
And Discord had gone, oh, I will only show you one of these. I'd missed that it was only one of them.
Like I said, Discord, from all of my experiences, is an incredibly glitchy, temperamental experience where just little glitches like that happen a lot, and it misreads different signals and things coming through, and you just got to double check stuff and restart and whatever. But we're good. We're good to go. It's good to have you with us. It's been a bit, and of course, a lot's transpired since we last talked, and we're gonna talk about some of that this morning, guys. Before we begin, if you haven't already hit the like button, if I know we're going live at a kind of unusually late hour here, but it still really helps if you haven't just hit the like button. If you could just do that, it's the number one thing that helps with the YouTube algorithms and stuff, and helps us reach more people and stuff. So if you could just take us a moment to do that, if you haven't, really appreciate it. And if you got questions for us, feel free to put them up in the chat. Obviously, super chats are immensely appreciated for the time and efforts put in, but not required, of course. So Ross, you've clearly been the talk of the town, I mean, as it were, in the circles that we operate in, and topically, of course, for what this show often delves into. So when you announced the stepping down from the development aspects of Dogecoin, did you anticipate the sort of mainstream attention that it garnished?
I mean, honestly, I kind of did. I was hoping we would make it a little bit quieter and a little bit not too dramatic. But there was actually quite a lot of careful framing about what we were doing to make sure I didn't get... Because I thought if we just said, oh, Ross is stepping away, and then didn't give any more context, I thought, yeah, we're going to have massive headlines, it's going to make mainstream news, it's going to be huge. Mm-hmm. So there was very much this intentional buffering where we're going, like, it is a transitional period where, and it's a continuation of something that a lot of people actually, I say a lot of people, a handful of people have known for a while, that trying to maintain a full-time job and doing Dogecoin was just too much effort. So there's been this ongoing transition anyway, where I've been handing individual pieces across to the foundation as it gets ready to deal with them. And we're just sort of continuing that process. But it got to the point of people were going, "Oh, can you pick up this? Can you pick up that?" externally. And I had to therefore announce, to be able to say to people, "Oh, I can't engage with this because I'm leaving, but why don't you talk to X person instead?"
Got it. So you did anticipate it, but you tried to mitigate it, and from it was amazing to me because I obviously, due to the kind of show prep that I do here and the things that I constantly am researching and reading about, there was a period of time there, and it's actually still happening to a degree, where you were everywhere when I was researching stories for for my when I was doing show prep for Night After Night. I mean, you were just everywhere. You just kept popping up, and then right when I think the story would start slowing down again, I would see like a new resurgence of news outlets reporting on you leaving. It was just extraordinary. I mean, some of the headlines were even pretty salacious too, where is Dogecoin doomed? Ross is leaving, like this kind of thing. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh wow, 'cause I hadn't seen half of these. Like I saw a couple the days after.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's what we have to compare with is other cases where this has happened. The one I'm conscious of is Mike Hearn departing from Bitcoin, which made New York Times. So there's actually a very dramatic scale difference going on there. But yeah, it's kind of out there within the niche press, and a couple of non-niche press picked it up.
Right.
But
right.
I've suddenly seen much bigger.
Yeah, well, it's still interesting, right? I mean, obviously, Dogecoin doesn't operate on the size and scope and popularity of Bitcoin, but all things considered, I mean, from where we were even 12 months ago, as Dogecoin, in relation to scope and popularity of Dogecoin, even where we were obviously a year and a half ago, things have just gotten really, really explosive. So, in fact, there was a poll that I did, I was talking about before you got on here, that Benzinga reported on through a few different data analytics firms that kind of work together on it, that showed that Dogecoin, this last year anyway, in America, that Dogecoin is the most popular digital currency, and that with Bitcoin running a close second behind it and Ethereum after that. So here in America, Dogecoin is still more popular than ever, even as we're into a bear market here. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know you had been working on Doge since 2013. Sometimes does all this kind of seem surreal, how far things have come?
Oh, it seems incredibly surreal. If you think like 18 months ago, Dogecoin was 30th, 40th in the rankings, and suddenly it's consistently 12th. Just by market cap, and then you look at the brand awareness, it's absolutely insane, and I think that's kind of the thing. It's kind of been super exciting, but it's also overwhelming. There is just so much going on, and I think it's incredible. I love the enthusiasm. I love seeing people jumping in and they're having fun with it, and that's absolutely brilliant. And I really want to emphasize, I think this is sort of a pivotal moment where Dogecoin transitions from its kind of small side project kind of thing to getting the right team together to be able to turn it into a world scale cryptocurrency, and being able to engage with all the opportunities around it.
Yeah, really well stated there, Ross. And obviously, nothing exemplifies that more than the trail map that was laid out before you departed. How active were you in building that template out?
So for a lot of it, I've actually been kind of advising rather than actively engaging on the trail map. A lot of it was, I really wanted a team that thought in a startup-y way. So this is kind of one of my weaknesses, is that I have kind of a big company mentality. And I like nice, safe things. And when you're trying to grow something at the insane scale that Dogecoin is trying to grow, you need to have a different mindset. So that's kind of where the foundation team was pulled in from, was we found people who were enthusiastic, who had the right skills, but also had the right mindset. And we said to them, right, what do you see as needing and they went, well, X, Y, Z, and then we sort of validated those thoughts and went, okay, here's how this part could work, here's what Gigawatt would bring, how it engaged with the ecosystem, drive adoption. Here are the problems that the end users, the exchanges, they're all talking to us about. This is where this fits into that ecosystem, and then builds I keep wanting to say roadmap, and this is kind of again the thing about big company versus small company, a trail map. So very much advising and validating, but the actual innovative thought, I have to give credit to the foundation for that one.
Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up. Do you know anything? And it's okay if you don't. I know you stepped away. Do you have any idea what's going on with the status of the radio Doge part of the trail map goes as it relates to Starlink? Do you think this is something that realistically can happen within the year?
So I don't have project status on a sort of a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
I know the Radio Doge is continuing. I know it's actually doing a few things I hadn't quite realized, which is a little bit awkward. But actually, there's some super interesting experimental stuff there about how to do it in even lower power models than I was realizing. That it's not just layering over conventional hardware and just seeing what the latency does to it. It's actually looking at messaging systems or messaging protocols that are specifically designed for that sort of low power environment. I know, so I've seen a couple of internal deadline sort of documents. I don't think we're talking about them openly yet, and I think the foundation might come after me if I start talking about their deadlines.
Okay.
So I'm going to go no comment on exact delivery dates, but I think it's on the right track. They've got a good engineering team. So no real concerns there.
Gotcha. Yeah, don't mind me. I got an attention starved real life Doge on set right now. My little co-host here. This is Remy. Okay, Remy. She's aggressively affectionate sometimes. Remy, all right, calm down. Sorry about this, Ross. Since stepping away, Ross, have you been able to enjoy a level of decompression or less stress yet?
Yes, and that's definitely helping. I'm trying to remember if we talked a week or so ago. So I actually picked up a really nasty cold last week, and so I kind of lost a bit of time to that. But this weekend, really notably, now that I'm feeling a lot better, and I've actually had time to start picking up hobbies again. And I mean, also I'm just sort of doing a lot of life admin. There's a lot of stuff that was gently not slipping back because I didn't have time to engage with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely doing better. I mean, it's a process, and there's so many things I want to do. Not helped by the pandemic. Like, it's kind of one of the things I want to do is travel.
Sure.
You can now, but
Yeah.
I was thinking of this and going, I really want to go to the US. Great, so I fly to the US. But what happens if I get ill in the US?
Yeah.
I'm just imagining that sort of nightmare scenario. You can imagine if I get seriously ill in the US. And I'm like, oh, that sounds terrible.
Right.
So, but no, definitely doing more. I really want to start getting to more museums around London, and catch up with, do more theatre, or go to more theatre. I'm not, dear goodness, not a performer.
Yeah.
For everyone's sake. Just find out all the things that I've been missing out on.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally understandable. I mean, even without all the roles that you had, the pandemic in and of itself has obviously been a very alienated and isolated experience for a lot of people. That, and you add on to this world between basically just being a full-time developer and holding a full-time job simultaneously. I'm sure you're starved to get back out in the world, yeah?
Yeah, and it's kind of, what is this? What's all this new stuff? Actually, can I call out a friend's event?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a friend of mine runs Art Battle London, and that's actually one of the first events I managed to get to recently. That was on Friday.
Okay.
Which was really cool. And that's kind of a whole bunch of people get a whole bunch of artists get 20 minutes to make something. It's incredible. And the next one's in May, so thank you for the opportunity to call him quickly out.
Yeah. Awesome. So how's your new gig going thus far? And will there be a time wherein you may be able to speak about it publicly, or not so much?
So my current role with Google is in the ads section, actually. So weirdly, I'm doing what they call a site reliability engineering job. So I actually, if I call it a glorified sysadmin, it's kind of an understatement on the glorified, because essentially I am doing massive scale automation. It's not just that we're keeping systems alive, but we're building systems that keep systems alive. And it's very cool. It's also a very good opportunity for me to learn a different skill set and a whole sort of market sector. Now, I know one of the things I talked about when I'm stepping away was Google obviously has announced they're getting involved in blockchain. So at the moment, I'm not directly involved in that, but it was kind of, there are going to be points where, or for example, actually, if Google, when people in Google say, hey, do you know anyone outside who is good, knows blockchain, and we could hire, I am a little bit, well, I kind of want to recommend the Dogecoin Foundation team.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing, is when I said conflict of interest, people went, oh, that sounds really sinister. I went, no, I just mean that, like, you have awkward moments. Like, I kind of have to decide between trying to hire the Dogecoin Foundation team and that being a mess, or not trying to hire really good engineers for Google. And that's what I meant by conflict of interest. But there, so the role is going really well. I love that they're feeding us. They give me 2 meals a day at the moment. And I believe at some point it's going to be 3 meals a day, and I'm just easily convinced by food.
That's increasingly understandable, especially here in the United States right now. All groceries are at about an estimated about 40% increase on inflation over the last couple of years. So, let's see here. Speaking of which, so the Dogecoin Foundation, obviously, as you're well aware of, recently tweeted out this statement. Let's see here. Much success. It's a small victory that seems very irrelevant given all that's currently happening in the world, but it's an important step. Now, essentially, and they went on to say, given an increasing number of bad faith attempts to register trademarks for Dogecoin, and even the logos created for Dogecoin by Christine Ricks, by people and organizations, we had no option but to register them to protect all good sheeps in the Dogecoin community. To me, as it's my first impression of this was something that had to happen. And from everything I known about you and the Dogecoin Foundation, I don't think people really have anything to be concerned about. I don't think there's going to be meme police going around or anything like that. This is something that inevitably just had to happen, right?
And I think it is easy to miss that there really were people. I think there was like a crazy number of applications in progress when the foundation actually was resurrected. But there were people trying to register that trademark. Some of them defensively, but we are fairly certain some of them were hostile. They would have used that trademark to then try claiming the domain or all sorts of other things, and just be able to claim they are Dogecoin, and that would be obviously catastrophic.
Yeah.
I will talk to the foundation and say, hey, you probably should have a written usage statement, just to say, hey, absolutely okay with all these things. But I don't expect there's any sort of, going to be any surprises there. I think it is just making sure that people, we don't have anyone trying to take over the space. And it's really frustrating how many bad actors there are in this space, but you just sort of find this actually. I was hearing about something similar with. Are you aware of the SCP wiki?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so essentially it's a creative writing project, and they're having exactly the same problem that someone has registered the trademark, I think, in Russia, and has then started trying to sue people and claiming that they're SCP, and now they have to retrospectively defend the trademark. And it's one of these things that when you're a tiny little side project in 2013, 2014, it seems ridiculous to register the trademark. Why would you register the trademark? And then, of course, 8 years later, we look back and go, "Oh, if only we just sorted this out at the time."
Yeah. Yeah. Good answer there, and totally understandable. Like I said, I just feel like this was inevitable, and if the Foundation didn't act on it, things could have got real messy, right?
Yeah.
What's the best TV series that you've watched so far this year, Ross?
Oh, so I'm actually enjoying Wheel of Time, which is an interesting one. It's a little weird. I'm super excited to watch Picard. So obviously the first episode of season 2 came out on Friday. Haven't caught up with it yet. Been busy. I'm sure there was other stuff I was watching. What was it? I'm now brainstorming. Tell you while I try to think, because there was another one I really loved and I can't remember what it was. While I think about that, what was your favorite?
Well, I've been revisiting the actually Battlestar Galactica that I watched many years ago, and so I'm in the second season of that now, and I hadn't watched it in probably about 10 years. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yes. I remember it being very good, but also very intense and quite dark. I say quite dark; it was really dark.
Yeah. It definitely is a bit dark. But yeah, I'm on the second season of that now, and it some things don't hold up really well, but this one really does. And then of course I've also been revisiting one of my favorites, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is probably my favorite comedy series with Larry David. You ever see that?
Curiously, no.
Oh, okay.
I should add it to my to-do list. I've got all this time now. I should actually start catching up.
Yeah, highly recommended. And then I started to watch. Somebody in my community here recommended a series on Netflix called Black Summer, and it's a super apocalyptic zombie thing. And I thought it was well done, but I have to be on the mood for it because it's so freaking intense. It's just so intense, man. And most of the time, the only time that I have time to stream or watch anything is a bit before bed. So probably take me a while to get through that one.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Streaming stuff before bed is always a bit risky too. I remember
It give you some dreams.
Right? I was watching, so I'm going to be disowned by your community at this point. I was watching the live action Cowboy Bebop and I liked it. Controversial opinion.
Yeah, it is the controversial, and it got lampooned. Now I haven't watched it, but I remember it got lampooned pretty hard.
Yeah, but I watched the last episode. I think I just had like a mild cold that week, so I was a bit feverish anyway.
Yeah.
But I watched it just before I went to bed. I can't remember what the dreams were, but I remember they were just super weird dreams. It's a weird TV series. I mean, the thing is, I think there's some people who watch the anime and they therefore had this idea of what they were expecting in their heads and coming into it with those preconceptions, and I think entirely reasonably, it didn't meet their expectations, and there's nothing wrong with that as an opinion. But sure. I found coming in as someone who had never really got into the anime, I just kind of missed that timing-wise. I'd kind of watched a couple of episodes when the live action was announced, but then drifted away again. I found the live action show was interesting and cool by itself in its own way, but it was very much it was a different show. It almost suffered from being attached to an existing. Yeah. It had that sort of theme and that sort of crew, and done something new with it, and hadn't called it Cowboy Bebop. I think they could have made a really good, successful show. But because they used an existing
template that people were hoping that almost a continuation of it. I think that's what buried it. Yeah. Let's see. Zombie Doge Army coming in with a $3 super chat. With that rock, sir, I give you a lock to that rock lock. Thank you, Zombie Doge. Appreciate it. IT Crowd is hilarious. I have seen the IT Crowd. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do like that show. And Ross, are you still holding your Dogecoin?
Oh. Awkward question. So I have to admit, I am slowly reducing all of my cryptocurrency. So it is. So I definitely have Dogecoins.
Yeah.
But I am slowly trickling everything because I just don't have the energy to engage with the ecosystem and to keep on top of the day-to-day developments. And it is kind of high risk and all these things. The taxman's going to love my tax return this year. The UK tax cycle is April to April. So I'm just pulling all the numbers together and going, oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's like I've stated many times. I mean, crypto investments they're not for everyone. They're not for the faint of heart, for sure. They can add some real stress to some people. Myself, the relationship that I've had with cryptocurrency over the years is pretty internally zen and relaxed about it. And I see these things. I'm cool with just letting them sit for like several years at a time, you know. And
and I think that's the thing. Is like it's not that I don't have any. It is kind of just keeping it down to an amount I can just put it in a box and forget about it. I don't have to think at it. I've actually just seen a question go by. Can I just quickly jump on this one?
Absolutely.
So Georgie has asked, what is going to happen with the miners after proof of stake? So there's a whole bunch of misunderstandings about this, and the first one is that we were not announced that we are definitely moving to proof of stake, although I'm definitely enthusiastic about it. But what we've really not announced is any sort of timeline. And one of the big things is that we wanted to announce super early, years in advance, so that people had time to think about this and to take that into their hardware purchasing plans, but potentially even be able to think about that at the level of companies that are committing R&D funds and think, where are we going to be in 5 years' time? Not that we're going to throw a switch and it's going to happen tomorrow. So this is very much a long-term thing. We want to have that there needs to be time spent researching state-of-the-art once the Ethereum has finished its own move, which isn't scheduled until I think summer anyway. Very much my recommendation to the foundation is going to be, look, think about what Ethereum's just done, think out the processes they use, work out what that looks like for a Dogecoin, we write up the proposal, validate the design, then coding can start. So this is all very, very long term, and it's very much intended to give people time to get the return of investment and to take the Doge that they're earning and keep it, and then whenever proof of stake might happen, and there are other options as well, but they would be able to have that pot of Doge to be able to go, I should stake this. Oh, look, I have money coming in. All that's changed is I'm not doing a hardware refresh cycle every few years. I just keep the same stake.
Gotcha. Thank you for the question, by the way, George, and thank you for that answer, Ross. Speaking of which, do people, allow me to revisit this just momentarily, because the press made such a big deal about it. A lot of the theme and sentiment that was conveyed and what a lot of the press was writing regarding your situation on stepping down, there seems to be, maybe it's manufactured by the media, maybe not, maybe both, anxiety of the fate of Dogecoin in the absence of your level of participation. Could you maybe speak to that briefly and maybe calm people's concerns in that regard, or speak to it in any way you'd like?
Again, this is why we had the foundation, in that we are scaling the team. We're removing these sort of single points of failure, and it's not like I'm gone. I'm still here.
Yep.
I've had a week basically lying on the sofa last week, which has impacted how much I've been able to talk to the foundation team and engage with stuff they were doing. But yeah, even Friday, I woke up, there was a whole bunch of documents and strategy stuff I saw, and then before I'm having breakfast, I'm reading that and going through it and kind of pulling together thoughts. And I need to ping the technical team and say, hey, how are you guys getting on? How is the engineering going? What do you need from me? And the point is, there's several more people full time. They're a little bit getting up to speed, and there are overheads. things do not scale perfectly. If you have one engineer, they don't ever have to talk to anyone else. You have 2 engineers, now there's a communication overhead. You have 4, that communication overhead is increasing. So it's working it out, and it is going to be a lot of a learning process. And I suspect we're going to find that the team needs to be even bigger than it currently is to be at the pace it needs to be. But there's so much enthusiasm and engagement and stuff going on. I think that there's going to be lots of activity. Hopefully, there's one of the big things the foundation is currently doing is looking at how to raise funds long term. Obviously, the tips are kind of there's been a bit to give them a boosting start, but they need to have a long term plan. But yeah, as I said, it's all kind of scaling and growth and bringing new people in and not having a single point of failure. And again, I mean, it's part time. We're now going to have multiple people full time.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you for that. Recently Billy Marcus kind of put a spark on Twitter about kind of a social media campaign from the Dogecoin community to try to get a Dogecoin tip jar going officially from Twitter. Now Twitter has done so for Bitcoin and most recently Ethereum. Do you think this is something that may realistically happen?
I hadn't actually realized they adapted to Ethereum, so that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any insights into Twitter's internal processes and what they are thinking about this. I would love to see it happen, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I find the cryptocurrencies that places that choose to adopt really haphazard. And I think that's the thing is they may go, tomorrow might be yes, or it might be they adopt some middle of the 50s range by market cap cryptocurrency.
Right.
Just for weirdness. So without having any insights, I'm loath to say anything. Sorry.
No worries. Are you familiar with Michael Saylor?
Name rings a bell, and I'm sure I should know the name. Go on, tell me more.
No worries. Michael Saylor is kind of one of the seen as one of the most foremost authorities and spokespeople on behalf of Bitcoin. And he recently stated on Twitter a couple days ago, and said, Bitcoin is the only thing you can truly own. This statement seems rather absurd to me. Maybe it's something I'm not, you as a developer, and is there something to this that I'm not seeing? I mean, what do you make of a statement like that?
Oh, how to start a fight between Dogecoin and Bitcoin. But yeah, it is a very weird statement because, what you're asserting is that the ownership of a private key gives you some sort of special thing. And it's kind of, well, obviously, if you're asserting that Bitcoin can be owned and is a special class of thing, then I don't think that's different from any other cryptocurrency at all. There are differences between the currencies in terms of long-term support. Before someone rushes off and buys the 1,000th by market cap and goes, Ross says as good as anything else. But I certainly, mathematically, I have my private keys, great. But I think what he's saying is that can't be taken from you by a government. And I kind of get that, particularly in the context of I'm trying to get into an international war or major politics at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. But there are sanctions being put in place against individuals, and I think that is making people realize that is a thing. Right. But then, to my mind, if someone comes up, if the police turn up my door in 5 minutes and they take away the keys with my my GPG keys would be the obvious one. I've kind of lost that. If they go to where the seed phrase for my ledger is stored, they can get that key. It's you're not that magical, special. Physical things you hold, like a key, aren't somehow different. And I think that's kind of been the thing, is because we're so used to money becoming this virtualized thing that it is just a number in a system somewhere. We lose track of that. But then I think anything I can physically hold, like this desk, I think I own. I think that's fairly conclusive.
Yes, indeed. I've always been kind of amused, and I know after talking to Billy about this, and he and I, right when I first started making content, we had like kind of a one-on-one interview for a couple hours. Actually, it was a lot of fun. But we had talked about how the unintended comedic value of some of these kind of Bitcoin maximalist types, where they almost fashion themselves in the protagonists of a very epic movie like Lord of the Rings or something like that. And every way that they talk about Dogecoin is almost in this epic folklore kind of framing, and I just find that hilarious. I find it absolutely hilarious. And after talking more extensively with Billy about that, he says that's in part what kind of why Dogecoin was initially created, just to kind of have a laugh at some of that stuff. And here we are all these years later, and Dogecoin's the most popular cryptocurrency in America anyway, as of the last 12 months. Just an extraordinary journey. But there's a lot of happy accidents that happen along the way, aren't there? I mean, a lot of things that start off as very lighthearted or without the initial intent end up being just absolutely have huge influence and consequence on the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think this is the thing, is well, there's a whole bunch of things that are really important there. That Dogecoin was always created to parody some of the stuff we were seeing in Bitcoin. And it's kind of what pulled me into it was the I found the politics around Bitcoin just exhausting. I love the technology. I love what it enables. And I was saying to someone actually recently that I still find that the distributed systems challenges around cryptocurrency amazing and fascinating, but being sort of very, very close to the front lines of it, I always find exhausting, and it's kind of that dichotomy going on. What I was going to say, but also it's a very interesting thing about how Dogecoin has really changed through the years, and how many times it's had to reinvent itself. That what launched in 2013 and what was running in 2014 and then has kept changing is it's very much that metaphor about the axe where you place the head and the shaft, and if you still got the same axe, where it obviously we replaced the dev team entirely once already. It's just going to keep adapting and changing and shifting and being this ongoing thing. But if you look at what launched in 2013, it's a very, very different beast.
Oh yeah, entirely. From my background, I often think about things in terms of music, just that's the way my brain works as a default. And kind of an analogy that comes to mind in hearing you talking there, Dogecoin has been around long enough where we are seeing second, third, fourth waves now of the community kind of reinvigorating, kind of reinventing itself while still having like the same core general values going on there. It's very interesting. It's kind of like music as well. You got first, second, third, fourth wave ska or whatever. You got classic house music from the late 80s all the way up to all the different variations that we see now. I do see some parallels there. And certainly, I'm sure you've had a front row seat to that, being there since essentially the beginning, and just to see the new waves of people constantly coming in. It must just be, I wouldn't say it's good or bad. It's just probably just very interesting from your standpoint, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a very good summary. Is I find it fascinating, and the sort of the ebb and flow and the tidal way that Dogecoin has dipped and grown and dipped and grown, and it's I think a lot of people have sort of jumped in 2020, 2021, and they think of it as something that launched in 2020, and it's kind of actually, it has a massive history, and if you look through that history, so many patterns repeat, but also they repeat differently, if that makes any sense.
Yes, 100%.
And yeah, it is very much a different thing. That when I jumped in, it was a cute bit of portfolio work that was easily done on a few evenings and a weekend here and there, and didn't really impact anything, and suddenly we've got so much more pressure. And I think this is kind of the point I was making about, I'm finding that overwhelming, and it's been really great having a team come in and be able to take on challenges like, because it's easy to go, oh, you just register a trademark. It's kind of, well, actually, we have to defend a trademark, but then we don't want to be personally liable for a lawsuit. So you need to have an entity that can shelter that, and now you need to register an entity, but now that needs to have a tax situation set up. And I think that I don't know how many different jurisdictions we went through to find a tax situation that worked, and no one flagged the jurisdiction as having problematic, and we could find people we wanted to work with in the jurisdiction. And yeah, so many. It's incredible how much has changed, and just, but also so much I've learned. I really wish I had, get a time machine and just just hop back to 2014 and go, here's a big long list of things you've learned. Please do these better.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20, as they say, right?
Yeah.
There's a question I see in this chat that's a bit derivative of one I had for you. George asks, Ross, can we expect in the future some individual streams from you? He says he's missing your streams, and I was going to ask you, do you miss doing live streams or not so much? Go ahead.
It's funny, actually. I was just about to type out an answer to that one. I'm not expecting to do live streams for a bit, and there's a few reasons for that, but part of it is that it's not that if you say you're stepping away from a project and then just keep reappearing in the public space, it kind of gives the wrong impression. So I really want to give the Foundation team their chance to sort of shine and be more visible, and they're a bit shyer.
Sure.
So part of it is getting them up and running. I will probably at some point start doing different streams, so there's a decent chance I will go and do gaming streams. I really like the game Satisfactory, where you're building these massive scalability or scaling factory challenges, and those are kind of cool. But it's much more doing something chilled and just gaming, rather than I'm likely to be coding on stream anytime soon. So Google does also like us helping promote Google. So there's also a potential thing that if I work lines up with something I can stream, that would also be cool. Right now, everything I'm doing is various degrees of confidential, so it doesn't work out well. But I want to work towards that, where I could go, hey, here is an example of how to use X thing that Google has just mentioned.
Got it. Super chat coming from Tim. Thank you for that $5. And I'll give my thoughts on this after you, Ross. He asks, what's the number one thing we can do to help promote Doge and encourage its success? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think the biggest thing is to sort of help support everyone in the ecosystem. There's just so many layers of jobs that need doing, particularly the less exciting stuff, like helping maintain the website. I would. It's even to sort of figure out how to actually organize all the people who want to get involved. For now, I would say talk on Twitter, talk about how you want to use it, ask companies about adoption. If you know code, feel free to jump into. There's 20 or 30 different implementations, so it's not just the main Dogecoin core. There's also Bitcoin J, which is the Java version for Bitcoin, which we then have libdoge that builds on top of that. There's Python implementations, there's Node.js implementations. Documenting things is always useful. Just making memes is really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is most compelling about the entire Dogecoin space is just how much it's just trying to have fun. And curiously, there's actually, and this goes back to the whole how I think about things versus how the foundation sets direction and needs to have that direction, is what I'd actually almost what I would do would be to simplify Doge and turn it into a token so that we could get away from having that massive technical overhead. But it's not actually what makes sense for Doge. But it is this thing of trying to figure out how to capture all the energy and use it effectively is also its own challenge. So if you can herd volunteers together, I mean, hanging out on the big yellow Discord is also good. Get to know the community there, help build that community and maintain it. Hang out on Reddit, upvote good posts, downvote bad posts, downvote stuff that is just spammy and is just trying to sell you a token. Just anything that helps make it a better space to be in.
Yeah, really well stated there. Really well stated there. I think the only thing that maybe I would add is more of an observation, really. And one of the things that I like most about the whole Doge hemisphere, and I think this is, in my view, one of the, perhaps the biggest upside to Doge becoming such a huge popular thing, is consequently you end up having, it ends up becoming a very big tent community with lots of different personalities and people whose specialties and gifts are incredibly varied. So whether it's various Doge-centric content creators like myself, and when I think about the different ones and how different our personalities and style is compared to one another, and the different things that we kind of emphasize perhaps and presentation, I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I like that there's so many different kinds of content creators that cover Doge, and then also I like that, like you said, obviously people on the developmental end of things and people on more of the technical end of things. I'm certainly not one of those people. I wish I could be, but I'm not. All the way to people that are just super good at memes, and memes are incredibly valuable in this space too. And also just all the people that participate in grassroots groundswells of support that have been proven to be immensely helpful. I mean, here's a good example of this, Russ. Since I started this show a year ago, one of the main themes, as it related to Doge anyway, that I'd often talk about was just the simple fact that I was like, Dogecoin's transaction speeds are quicker than both Bitcoin's and Ethereum's, and the fees. And this was before you guys even launched the most recent update, which helped optimize some of those things. But and I always talked about that because it just seemed like such an obvious thing that most people even in the crypto space were unfamiliar with these basic facts. And I just kept talking about it. And then I noticed more people just started talking about it. And then finally, it ended up resulting in Elon Musk in his interview with Time Magazine essentially saying the same thing. I'm, of course, not taking credit for Elon saying that. I'm just saying it started as people just on Twitter and social media and through content creators and all our little communities constantly talking about this, where it started to really permeate and change the narrative as it relates to Dogecoin and the education surrounding it, or the way the mainstream media had covered Dogecoin up until fairly recently was only Dogecoin. Their understanding of it was a meme and a joke, and it is a meme and a joke. Dogecoin is a joke, as I sometimes say. Dogecoin's a joke, and the future is a joke. So, but it's got some solid utility behind it, and I think only recently that the narrative has kind of pivoted on that. Your thoughts?
Oh wow!
I know I threw a lot at you there.
I was going to say I'm clinging on to random parts of that. So I'm just going to throw some random thoughts back at you because there's a few things that kind of sparked in the middle. I did find it really interesting that when they talked about AMC taking crypto, and this goes back to the fees and the transaction pace, that it became sort of Dogecoin and Shiba, and it was a bit. One of these is quite different to the other. Right?
Yes.
If you look at the fees on Shiba at the time.
Yes.
I'm trying to hold on to all the different thoughts you threw at me there. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Dogecoin, I think we have to remember that it was launched as a joke, and it is intentionally funny. Like, this is the thing,
Yeah.
is everyone keeps coming in and expecting it to be whatever they've kind of got in their head about it, and it's kind of,
Yeah.
I wish people read the history and understood it. No, it was launched as a joke to make a mockery of Bitcoin, and people loved it, but it's never been something that's been intended to make people rich. It's always been something that's meant to be fun and lighthearted, and a very different model. And I think I'm trying to think if I can say this. I think one of the things that is really interesting was someone emailed me recently and went, "Are you aware Dogecoin is currently one of the world's stablest currencies?" And I was a bit, yes, I am. But it's a really interesting thing that they're now looking at central bank digital currencies because they want to have stable currencies on a blockchain that are not some sort of weird synthetic thing that's semi-backed by a fiat currency. And maybe that is big by a major national bank having that fiat currency.
Yes.
But I look at Dogecoin and go, like, this actually kind of acts as a stable currency on a blockchain already, and it's incredible that no one seems to see that. And it is such a split space, and it is a joke, but it's also one of the stablest currencies out there. It is super consistent in value, particularly on blockchain, but without any of the controversial, is it really backed by all the money it claims it's backed by, of some of the other stable currencies.
Yeah, very well stated there, and that's a point that I wouldn't have thought to bring up. So thank you for your addition there. Slide Edge coming in, celebrating membership of 10 months. Thank you so much. It's almost a year there. Time flies when you're having fun, right, Slide Edge? Yes, indeed, a milestone. And I'd just like to take really quickly time just to thank all of you guys who are monthly subscribers and members here. Really appreciate the continued support here. We may not be the biggest channel, but we've got what I feel to be just a very exceptional group of folks that tune in here. So thank you guys for that. And if you're not already a member, the link's in all the description of the video. It's just $4 a month. Just another cool additional way to support what we're doing here. Let's see. Scotty says, gonna have to call it here. Great talking with y'all. Real deal, Steven Steele. Thank you. Keep feeling better. Thank you. Appreciate that, Scotty. And he says, Ross, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate you. I got to start winding it down here. It's about 3 a.m. in my neck of the woods, and I've got to be up in a bit to operate my business. Kind of winding down here as we ponder everything that we've discussed here tonight. Ross, you will, just to be clear, you will be staying on as an advisor to the foundation, and do you see yourself, actually chiming in with feedback as in days ahead?
I mean, absolutely. As I said, even on as recently as Friday, I woke up to find that I had a bunch of, hey, this is the thing we're doing. We'd love feedback, and being able to go through and review and go hear my thoughts. And this goes to a bunch of the advisors. So you also be able to flag specific areas and say this person should look at this area, this person this area. That's absolutely happening. I need to ping the engineers and say, hey, how are you getting on? How are the things? How do you have any questions I should be answering right now? All of this. So yeah, absolutely, that's the intent. Is I'm hanging on as an advisor, and that's letting me move into a much less intense role where I can set aside time. Rather than being an open-ended commitment where there's always this pressure to do more and more and more and more, I can set aside some office hours, once or twice a week, and say, look, I will definitely be here at this time, and you can bring your questions. So if you've got stuff you're stuck on, I can answer that. Or if you want input on, XYZ process, or why is this done this way, I'm available for that.
That's awesome, and I'm sure that will put a lot of people at ease, honestly. Give a lot of people peace of mind. Thank you for that. Donna Tabuki coming in with the $10 super chat. She says, thank you, Ross. So, Ross, what is on... Do you have any general objectives for the rest of the year here, 2022?
What, for me or for Dogecoin?
For you.
For me personally, I've got a haircut coming up. No.
I think we go to the same barber.
There's a few. I think this year I'm hoping will be kind of a re-emergence for me. Like, it's been a long pandemic. I have been sheltering through a lot of it. It's not that I haven't gone out at all, but definitely been really restricted in how much I go out, how much I do. So, there's actually a festival I want to get to, because, why do things in your 20s when you can do it in your 40s instead? But I had a weirdly quiet 20s just because of random things, and I've just never gone to a festival, and I'm going to go to a festival. I'm just going to go, just going to do that. I'm really hoping to make it to the US. I hope to meet up with old friends I haven't seen in a long time, meet up with new friends. I think some people on this may be aware that I'm trying to go on a first date with someone in the US, which is definitely making for the most complicated attempt to go on a date ever. So I'm hoping that may happen. We will see how the year goes.
I see.
Really establishing myself in the job I'm doing with Google is also a big thing, and that's been really challenging in the pandemic. Coming in, starting remotely with other stuff on the side, so it's kind of just really getting my settled in there and feeling not just like I'm making it through day by day, but also like seriously succeeding. It's gonna be a big thing. I do want to go for promotion at work, so lining that up towards the 2023 schedule will be really good as well.
Yeah, I think this all sounds great, and I think it sounds like you're really doing what's best for you. And also, I think this is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like this is probably going to be even more beneficial for Dogecoin, because now your level of engagement will be, at a level that isn't stressing you out so much, and so your participation will be more enjoyable for you, yeah?
Yeah, and I think also it's something that hasn't been as apparent, I hope, outside of sort of the inner circle, is I was making mistakes. Like, I was tired, I was stressed, I was making mistakes. There were things I was making the wrong call on. It was not a good experience for anyone, basically. We're very rapidly scaling the team. I actually remembered something. We're training more people up. We're scaling. It's gonna be bumpy, I'm not gonna lie, but there will be growth from it, and a transformation and the sort of chrysalis process as the foundation takes on, gets up to speed and becomes that next stage.
Yes, indeed. Jason, thank you for your 9 months of membership, and everyone, no one here needs an introduction to Jason Huffman around here. He's just been a stalwart supporter from the beginning. Thank you, Jason. And also, thank you for the $10 super chat to Sliding Edge. It says Doge, Blair, Cake. At that, do you have any parting words here on this one, Ross?
I did, and I lost them.
Did you want to thank the Academy?
I think I'd just like to thank the Dogecoin community. I think that's a really good way to quit, actually, and say, or not to quit, to depart and say, thanks everyone for being so supportive. Stay fun. Like, that's the big thing I would say.
Yes, I agree.
It's great seeing everyone being fun and posting memes and being cheerful, and that's what I really love about the community. And just keep doing that and exemplifying that, everyone.
I couldn't agree with you more, Ross, and really, really great way to cap this one. Well, my friend, you know that you always have an open door here whenever you like. You always have a platform here whenever you like. So we'd like to see you back as it allows for you. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this special late edition of Steven Steele Live. It was, I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I did. So appreciate everyone for watching. And Ross, always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure. It's always great to have you on. And I know everyone here just loves you.
Thanks.
Okay, my friend. We'll be in touch soon. Everyone, thank you for tuning in tonight. Until next time, this is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, and the man with the plan and a very understated playboy, Ross Nicoll. Until next time, guys, we'll see you. Over and out.